Coach, I'm curious. Trey he didn't have a lot of, I think 2 catches for 17 yards against West Virginia. He came back, had 6 catches, over 100 yards this week. How much this week was there more of an urgency to get Trey the ball?
A little bit to that, he's definitely one of the guys that we got to do a good job of making sure. Obviously, the defense can dictate to some extent, but we got to make sure that he's getting plenty of opportunities, as a guy that can make big plays for us. So there's a lot of factors that go into those things, defense, what's going on offensively and execution and all that good stuff. But yeah, there's that needs to be every week. That you sure hate to come out of a game with him getting 2 catches.
You guys have had to shake up the offensive line a little bit because of Silas's injury. What did you think about how the guys played as a unit this week? Coach Fuente was just in here and said, he really likes that group, and it could potentially be the group going forward.
Yeah, we'll figure out. I mean, we're going to need more than 5 guys. So getting Silas back to give us another guy in there. But yeah, Lasitas did a nice job on the edge. Luke can play either edge. Braxton gives us some versatility up front there. Johnny did a nice job at center. So kind of, having a couple of different lineups with where those guys are, it'll be, right now it's kind of those 6 guys that have played the most that we feel the best about, but we're going to need a couple more guys to keep coming on to go, 8 in a row here.
I'm curious about Braxton. Through 4 weeks, Fuente said he's been impressed, but he still thinks that Braxton can be even more efficient, that he hasn't turned the ball over much, but he can be even better. What have you seen? What's your analysis been looking at Braxton's film, just about how he's performed the past few weeks?
Yeah, I think there's definitely another big step there that he can make, because of his athleticism. He's made some big plays for us on the scramble, on the move. He's had some nice throws from the pocket. He's done a nice job at times there. The RPO game, he's got the ability to do all the different things that we need him to do. And he's shown spurts of all the different things. And there's just another step. There's another level that he can get to make us a better offense and to make it harder to defend us. But I certainly think it's there, and there is another level of consistency that he's got to get to that I think he can get to.
Out on Zoom, Mike Barber.
Hey, Coach, along those lines with Braxton, how has he lived up, might be the wrong word, but how has he matched what you anticipated you were going to get this season? And as you go into this bye week, are there things you simply take out of the playbook because it's not in his wheelhouse, and things that you put more in because you realize, hey, he's good at this?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as looking at what your schemes are, having a bye week and having 2 weeks gives you a chance to really look back at what you've done and what you feel like there's already been a little bit of that going on as the season moves on week to week, but certainly having the bye week kind of amplifies that. But yes and no. I mean, he's got, the things that he has been a little inconsistent at, we've got to continue to get better at. You can't go in offensively with just a few schemes that everybody can, you gotta be able to do a little bit of everything. But I would just say offensively, we're disappointed, and it's been a little bit of everybody and a little bit of all positions. That what I told the guys Sunday was, it's in here, like the talent's in here. You guys care. We got what we need in this room. But we're just not playing at that level yet, and that's where we got to get to, because we're sitting in a great spot as a team, And offensively, we haven't scratched the surface yet, but we got to get there now. We can't waste any more time.
And years-wise, Braxton's an older guy. Is he pretty good at communicating to you, hey, I'm comfortable with this, or hey, this isn't fitting for me? Is there a good two-way street there at this point?
Yeah, I think Braxton, I think he wants to be able to do anything we want him to do, so, making sure he's, that's always a two-way street there of, I know he understands what's going on. I know he sees it well out there. I know he feels like he can execute anything we put in front of him. But yeah, that communication of what he feels the best about, going into the week and during the game is something that will, is a continuous process between him and I.
Have you started looking at Notre Dame?
No, I have not.
Thank you.
David Teal.
Brad, what kind of response do you get when you tell your room that, saying, look, it's in here, we just haven't figured it out yet? I mean, do they need that jolt of confidence? Do they remain confident in themselves? How would you assess where they are?
I think it's there. I think they're confident, because we've seen it. Those guys that I'm talking about, those guys that have been playing, that have the experience, that are out there, they've all done it. They've played well at times. They played well for games. There's been this season. There's been the first half of the season, I thought we executed really well. There's been drives sprinkled in the rest of the games where it looks really, really, really good. So. I don't think I have to convince them that we have enough talent and ability to go put it together and be tough. So it's a offense, this game, and offensively it's a funny thing with the execution of it. It's hard to always put your finger on one particular thing. Usually it's a combination of a lot of different factors. So, but I don't feel like I'm telling them anything they don't already know. I feel like they understand what we have. I think they understand, we're not where we need to be. We're not playing as well as we need to be, and it's a collective effort of everybody locking in, getting better, and just executing better, making plays when there's plays there to be made. We need to make more of them, just as a group.
Justin was saying earlier that one of the things he'd like to accomplish during this open week is to find more help for Trey and Tavion and Caleb at the receiver spot. How optimistic do you remain about the younger guys, if you can get them healthy, that they can give you something here in these final 8 games? You
talking at receiver specifically?
Yeah.
I still feel good. Jalen Jones has been the one that hasn't been able to practice hardly, just trying to get him back and healthy. Had a really good fall camp, but kind of since then he hasn't got to do much. But Jaden's a guy that is, has played a little bit last week, that's gonna continue to get more, has got to get more. I like where he is. He's just an inexperienced player right now because he hasn't been in there much. D-Loft, I think you see the same thing, as he's being sprinkled in as the game goes on and into series, and we feel good about him. Those are the two guys that are already being sprinkled in, are going to have to continue to get more to give those guys a little bit more break as the game goes along. And then, there's gonna need to be another guy or two that continues to come on to put themselves in position to give us a little bit more depth at that spot. Dalen Wright, Christian Moss are two young guys that have a lot of talent that are working their butt off during the week and aren't playing on Saturdays, and they've got to continue to do that and know that we're looking down the road, that they're 1 or 2 sprained ankles away from being in the game, and that's hard to do. It's hard to do for anybody, let alone a young player, a young college student. So, Jalen, hopefully we'll get him back and healthy. I think he's the closest of that next group to being ready to go in there, know what to do, and get the job done for us.
Hank?
Hey, Brad, Justin was talking about wanting to get all the inexperienced guys a lot more reps in the bye week. How do you balance that with your desire to kind of get the main guys in the offense kind of up to par with where you want to be and performing the way you know they can but have kind of struggled to achieve so far?
Yeah, it's right now it's about evaluating specifically with our guys that are getting all the reps of here's exactly what we gotta focus on these one or two things with these guys, and giving them some clear direction to, I think for those guys having a couple of days off here while the other guys are practicing is really taking a good long hard look at all that film and what we're talking about, and then concentrating on that when we do. We're still going to get plenty of practice to get ready for Notre Dame. We feel like those guys that have played all the snaps, they need a couple of days away from practice to get back to hit the reset button to go make this 8 straight stretch here. But yeah, it's not necessarily new or different or more things that we need to do. It's getting a little bit better at what we're doing, and so making sure we see that on film, with these guys having a couple of days off to just really soak that in, reflect on it, and focus on that once we get back. Get those guys back on Thursday, and then the rest of the prep for Notre Dame.
And who are the guys on offense that are most instrumental in rebuilding that confidence and that focus and stuff from a leadership standpoint?
Oh, I think it's your guys that have played the most, that have been the most solid over those times. It's the older receivers that have been playing and making plays. It's the veteran guys up front. The tailbacks, the two tailbacks that have played the most, those guys have been solid, and I think bring a level of consistency and confidence about them. But I don't know that there's not a big shift in what's going on within our group or with our team. It's the same group of guys that have been leading the way, since January and all through the summer and fall camp, and there's no secret sauce or magic formula. We know we got to continue to buckle down and get a little bit better. It's a combination of a little bit better at a few things in a few spots, and sometimes that can result in big changes and difference in how you play.